Is Paul Kagame a savior, a dictator, or something far more complex? His journey from the dusty streets of refugee camps to the grand halls of power is a tale woven with ambition, tragedy, and intrigue. To understand Kagame, one must delve into the shadows of history, where his story blurs the lines between heroism and control. 1957. Paul Kagame was born on October 23, 1957, in Tambwe, Rwanda. His family belonged to the Tutsi ethnic group, a minority historically marginalized by the Hutu majority. The seeds of Kagame's political journey were sown early in life, when a wave of ethnic violence in the late 1950s forced his family to flee to neighboring Uganda. Kagame was just a toddler when his family joined tens of thousands of Tutsi refugees, leaving behind their homeland for a life of uncertainty. In the Ugandan refugee camps, Kagame grew up surrounded by stories of Rwanda's past glory and the injustices that had driven his people into exile. It was here, in the harsh conditions of exile, that Kagame began to develop the resilience and determination that would later define his political career. But it was also here that a deep sense of bitterness took root, a feeling of injustice that would fuel his unrelenting drive to reclaim Rwanda for the Tutsi people. 1970. Kagame's formal education was sporadic, interrupted by the challenges of refugee life. However, he managed to attend schools in Uganda, where he met another young refugee, Fred Rwanda, who would later become a close ally. Kagame's real education, however, came not in classrooms but on the battlefield. In the late 1970s, Kagame joined the ranks of Yoweri Museveni's National Resistance Army, NRA, during Uganda's Bush War. Here, Kagame honed his skills in guerrilla warfare, intelligence, and leadership. He was known as a quiet but ruthless operator, a man who preferred to let his actions speak louder than words. His time with the NRA would later prove invaluable, as it provided him with the military and strategic experience he needed to lead a revolution of his own. 1980. By the late 1980s, Kagame and Rwanda had begun to focus their efforts on liberating Rwanda. Together, they co-founded the Rwandan Patriotic Front, RPF, a rebel group with the stated aim of ending the Hutu-dominated regime in Rwanda and securing the right of return for Tutsi exiles. The RPF launched its first major offensive in 1990, but the campaign was fraught with challenges. Rwanda was killed early in the conflict, leaving Kagame to take command. The transition was not smooth. Kagame was not the charismatic leader Rwanda had been. But what he lacked in charisma, he made up for in discipline and strategy. Kagame transformed the RPF into a formidable fighting force, employing tactics that combined military precision with psychological warfare. As the RPF gained ground, the situation in Rwanda grew increasingly volatile. Ethnic tensions reached a boiling point, culminating in the 1994 genocide, during which an estimated 800,000 Tutsi and moderate Hutu were slaughtered in just 100 days. The genocide was one of the darkest chapters in modern history, and it would become the defining moment of Kagame's life. 1994. In the aftermath of the genocide, Kagame and the RPF marched into Kigali, effectively ending the mass killings and overthrowing the Hutu-led government. To many, Kagame was a hero, the man who had stopped the genocide when the international community had failed to act. But others saw a darker side to his rise to power. Rumors began to swirl about the RPF's conduct during the conflict. Human rights organizations accused Kagame's forces of committing atrocities against Hutu civilians. Both during and after the genocide, there were whispers of mass killings, revenge attacks, and a deliberate campaign to silence dissent. Kagame, for his part, dismissed these allegations as propaganda, insisting that his actions were necessary to restore order and prevent further bloodshed. 2000. Once in power, Kagame set about rebuilding Rwanda from the ashes of genocide. His vision for the country was ambitious: to transform Rwanda into a prosperous, unified, and technologically advanced nation. Under his leadership, Rwanda achieved remarkable progress in areas such as healthcare, education, and economic development. Kigali, the capital, became a model of cleanliness and efficiency, earning praise from international observers. But Kagame's vision came at a cost. His government was accused of stifling political opposition, suppressing the media, and using heavy-handed tactics to maintain control. Critics likened Kagame to a benevolent dictator, a man who justified authoritarianism in the name of progress. 2010. As Kagame's international profile grew, so did the scrutiny of his actions. Accusations of human rights abuses and political repression became harder to ignore. Former allies who dared to criticize Kagame often met tragic fates. Some were jailed, others disappeared, and a few were found dead under mysterious circumstances. One of the most controversial episodes in Kagame's career was the 2010 assassination of Patrick Karegeya, a former RPF insider turned vocal critic. Karegeya was found strangled in a South African hotel room, and many suspected Kagame's involvement. Kagame denied the allegations but delivered a chilling statement. "You can't betray Rwanda and not face consequences." Kagame's government has also been accused of interfering in neighboring countries, fueling conflicts in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and exploiting its mineral resources. These allegations have tarnished Kagame's reputation, painting him as a leader willing to go to any lengths to secure his interests. Today, Paul Kagame stands as one of the most powerful and controversial leaders in Africa. His supporters hail him as a visionary who has transformed Rwanda into a beacon of hope and stability in a region often plagued by turmoil. His critics, however, see him as a ruthless autocrat who has consolidated power at the expense of democracy and human rights. Kagame's story is one of contradictions. He is both a liberator and an oppressor, a hero and a villain. His journey from a refugee camp to the presidency is a testament to his resilience and ambition. But it also raises uncomfortable questions about the cost of power and the price of progress.